is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. We've got I'll say the cast of the Orange County History Center here.
Hey, I like that. I like that. The cast. Yeah, I love that.
TheHistoryCenter.org.
Yeah,
and
man.
we're talking Tupperware today.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump into some Tupperware.
Fresh episode.
I know that sounds crazy. It's like, hey, we have the History Center in to talk Tupperware, but you, sir, should know and be on notice that Tupperware is a local product.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
So, Scotty,
Probably the most famous thing to ever come out of this area if you really think about it.
tell us about the exhibit at the History Center.
Sure. Well, actually, I'm going to let Kara tell you. But yes, this is inspired by the fact that they were they recently are closing up, right?
Yeah.
Bankruptcy, no?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Kissimmee was the headquarters, but also there's a very local tie-in with the person that we're focusing on with this exhibit, Brownie Wise, who came up with that whole concept of those Tupperware parties that we know so much about. But Kara, would you take it from there?
What a beautiful name. So you mean to tell me that the person who invented Tupperware's name was Brownie?
No. She didn't invent the Tupperware.
Because I was
the
like
parties, the concept, the selling concept.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was like, brownies go in Tupperware. Right? I mean, that is like, I feel like that's a real thing. But anyway, sorry. I'm messing the entire show up, Tom.
So, Kara, let's talk Tupperware.
Yeah, so the headquarters for Tupperware Home Parties was in Kissimmee.
Okay.
Well, still kind of is until the end of the year.
When did that start, by the way? Like, I would guess the 50s, but...
Tupperware itself was 1947.
Okay, so...
Yeah, you're about right. Yeah.
Sorry, they all kind of blend together.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I've learned something today. Anything on our show... It's just dessert. It's just like it doesn't have to. It doesn't have
just
to be
roundabout.
accurate. We're just roundabouts here.
And this isn't Anderson Cooper.
Yeah. Let's look. If you wanted the actual date, you would go to the exhibit, which you're going to do.
There you go. There you go. I like that.
We're doing in a roundabout.
If it was Anderson Cooper, I'd be drunk on New Year's.
I would be too. Oh my God.
That I stand by.
I'm going to say some spicy comments.
So let's get into it. What exactly is in the exhibit?
So our exhibit is kind of a mix of a bunch of cool different stuff. We have some product in there, like, the Tupperware bowls and containers everyone knows. And then we have some cool stuff that's specific to Tupperware home parties, because the home parties is what was in Orlando. Tupperware it started and was manufactured up in Massachusetts.
Okay, so this is interesting. So Tupperware, not necessarily from the Orlando area, just the concept of the ladies' parties. And I say ladies' parties like men didn't do these, but I guess men, primarily at the time, I'm guessing, men wasn't, the main thing. But I remember these when I was a kid.
Well, Tupperware parties, it branched off into a gigantic, all these other businesses that do like...
secret parties. I know what those are.
And is it, did it have multi-level marketing tied into it at all?
Essentially, yeah. There were the salespeople who did the parties, and then there were distributors, and I think there was someone above distributors, right?
God.
The executives, Brownie.
Yeah, Brownie, yeah.
Well, what I've learned about multi-level marketing, which, by the way, is my favorite type of marketing.
Yeah, it really is. It is our favorite.
It's my favorite because...
I like that it's feast or famine. I like if you're on top, you're
the
killing
rich
it.
are
I
at
like
the
if you're
peak.
on the bottom, you're working so hard.
I can understand
That's how you
pyramids.
learn.
All you have to tell me is rich at the top. Oh my God, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want to be rich. And then poor at the bottom, don't care.
Rich
at the top.
I can't see them. I'm on the top. I can't even see their bodies.
And
lifeless bodies.
You know what's funny is the whole concept of Tupperware. It doesn't seem that revolutionary. Like, I know I'm saying that now in 2024.
I mean,
dude.
But I think an airtight seal on your food is some astronaut garbage, right?
At the time,
I think there was a time when, you would, you mean to
on.
tell me my bread will last more than a week?
Yeah, but they had,
Especially in Florida, because we're a swamp.
But they had, at the time, even before Tupperware, they had, what's it called? The clear plastic, what's that product called that you put, not
Ziploc?
tin foil, saran wrap. Mm-hmm. You're putting saran wrap over a bowl of chili to keep the chili from going bad. And then I'm like, what if the saran wrap was just a top? That's what Tupperware is, right?
I
That's
bet
essentially
you.
what it was.
I wonder if.
It's not that genius.
I wonder if who was first, Tupperware or Saran Wrap.
I'm curious too. I don't know.
So
Well, Tom seemed very confident when he.
I mean,
the
Scotty,
key, Scotty.
everything he says, he's like, "This is the way it is, and this is how it's gonna be." And then most of the time, I like, and the guys go, they tell me online, they're like, "Put up a fight, Dad." I'm like, "I'm tired. I'm so tired."
That's what you need to be at the top. You have to just say things confidently, and then everybody's like, "This guy knows."
That's how you get the pink Cadillac.
I'm gonna look at it right now. I'm gonna look and see.
All right.
Okay.
So back to the exhibit. So there's products of Tupperware, and then basically you can just see the history of Tupperware parties and how they grew.
Yeah, so we have all of our panels go over the history of Tupperware in Orlando, but we really focus a lot on Brownie Wise.
Okay.
Oh,
She
you
was
were
the
so
president
wrong.
Of Home Party.
Hold on, I have to point this out because this is a perfect example of this guy being the dumbest person on the show. And it makes me so mad that he's so confident about, oh, Saran Wrap is just the top. Finally. God damn it. Sorry, I don't mean to yell. Saran Wrap introduced 1949, Tupperware 46.
Well, I'm even more mad now because Saran Wrap should have been the obvious first thing to come out. Then you go hardcover. It's always soft first, like it goes soft. Then you're like, hey, make it hard after. And then also,
Are we
what
still
was
talking about
I don't
Tupperware?
know, Scotty.
No, but what was before that? What was like, our food just goes bad. They're like, put a top on it, can't do it.
I do like
No
that
one can
before,
do it.
I do like that before that our food just goes bad.
Right.
In the 40s, like we're not talking about like caveman days. They had things like put a top on it. Anyway, sorry.
Oh,
So
that's
back
hilarious.
to Tupperware.
You know what I used to like about Tupperware that's interesting is I did like the colors. And it's
Yeah.
funny that how those colors do come back. Like, I remember my mom had the avocado, and then there was the quintessential orange, and then there was the yellow, and then I believe there was like a brown. It's almost like that weird 60s and 70s style colorings that we have of like the original M&Ms. It's like there's a very like 60s and 70s. I don't know. There's probably a design term or an artistic term for it that I don't know, but I like those colors.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're very, very cool.
I also like the fact that Mr. Tupperware, there was a point in time where some employee came to him and was like, hey,
You can call him Tup.
we could make this Tupperware stain proof
Yeah.
so the spaghetti doesn't turn it orange.
Yeah.
And he's like, leave it be.
Yeah. You gotta leave it be.
He goes, that's what they did.
People love that.
Yeah.
So now-
they do love how would you know which one's your spaghetti? If it doesn't
Stain it
stain
orange.
it, how do you know which one's the one that you put your spaghetti in?
And he's like, one day they'll use this to make fun of the president. All that for a long joke, a future joke 50 years later. Anyway,
Tup's got a good sense of humor.
back to Tupperware. So what else is in the exhibit? Sorry.
What else we have in there? We have some. Well, it's actually a loan from me, but I think it's really cool, so I'll talk about it. It's a little figurine. They used to give porcelain figurines to the salespeople who met certain goals or whatever, and it looks like a Tupperware lady at a party with like miniature Tupperware next to her on the table.
Whoa.
Okay.
All
And I
right.
just think that's like the coolest thing ever because it's miniature.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, I do like miniatures. I like a good trophy or a statuette.
That was like the first incentive-based, like multi-level marketing
Yeah.
type of like, hey, if you're the top sales earner or whatever, you'll get a pink Cadillac. You know,
Yeah,
like
Mary Kay was
Mary
like
Kay,
that.
yeah.
They gave away cars. They
Yeah.
put additions on people's houses and pools in their yard and what?
I mean, it is
I'm
cool.
laughing at what they did with the car in '56. But
Yeah, they raised a woman won a car at one of their jubilees and they raised it from the pond. They submerged it and then raised it.
Hold on. So she won a car. They're
Yes.
like, don't get in the pond.
Man, this
It was a shell. It was all just for like
Oh.
the show of it.
Oh, okay. So
Wow.
they didn't know, and then they're like, "You win a car," and then so just imagine a car body coming out of the pond,
Yep.
and then the lady's like losing her mind. So it was
Yeah.
all for kind of like
This is probably when you could actually go in the water at that time period, right? Yeah.
I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah. That is interesting that they kind of had some flash or pizzazz, rather, for lack of a better term, to do that. Now, what do you guys know of have you ever heard of the term lock and lock? Are you familiar with that?
Lock and lock. No.
Okay, see, I am a QVC man.
And
And if you want to know why Tupperware is gone, if you want to know who buried it, you look no further than over the horizon to Lock and Lock. Lock and Lock, they did exactly what Tupperware did. The only thing that they did differently is they made a top that has little snaps on the side that make it so it locks, so it can fall off the counter.
Gotcha.
That's the only difference in it. But people love it. And the people that buy Lock and Lock are just as crazy as Tupperware people. They're crazy about Lock and Lock.
Well, you could do that with Tupperware too.
Yeah.
They did that.
Oh,
during
they did the Lock and Lock
demonstrations.
too? Oh, wow.
Well, their lid's sealed in such a way where during demos they would push it off the top of a table and
I love
fall
that.
over. It wouldn't leak or anything.
I love a good demo. I always hope that my radio career would get so bad that at some point I would be demonstrating those type of products at a Walmart. Now, it never happened. But there's
knives.
still time. But there is still
Knives
time.
at Sam's.
Yes, there is still time.
wasn't there a huge marketing thing where like the patented Tupperware burp?
Yep.
Where,
Yes.
Which I always thought was gross.
Yeah, it is a little gross.
Like,
Yeah, I have a joke queued up that I'm not even going to make.
I'm like,
'cause, yeah.
Don't describe it as a burp.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
off
the releasing of, and don't call it the releasing of the gas either. Don't call it that. You know?
Just be like, when it makes a noise, it's good.
Yeah.
Don't
It's
make it a
fresh.
bodily function.
When there's no air in there, it's fresh. Give it a little toot. Don't say that.
When did Tupperware start to fall out of favor and start to become less popular? Because it was the top thing for how many years? Like, it must have been
Decades.
before they like. I feel like when they started manufacturing plastic in China,
Yeah.
they're like, we could make it. Like anybody could.
When we started caring less about our plastic waste is when I feel like Tupperware fell off. When we're like, oh yeah, I'll just buy more.
God,
Yeah.
Disposable and all that. Yeah.
I mean, like, can you imagine that plastic was at some point made in Missouri or
Yeah.
something like in America?
For a
Like,
hot
they had
minute,
a
me and Andrea
plastic
only bought
factory.
American plastics.
Like, that's vintage. Like, having Tupperware that was made in America is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine presenting that to someone in 2024 and be like, this piece of plastic was made in America? They'd be like, where?
Yeah. Well, they always had a
What?
good warranty too, if I remember correctly, from when because a lot of this is connected to my church
Was it
days.
$85?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was cheap, but I remember like something breaking. I remember my mom talking to the lady, and like the warranty, they're all like, "Oh yeah, they'll take care of that. They stand behind their product." You know, like so.
My
Anything
mom replaced
breaks.
a cereal bowl like 2 years ago that
Yeah.
she's had since the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
they'll still do it.
And then is there a lot of the exhibit kind of showing the multi-level marketing aspect of Tupperware, not in the product? Or is it like more product heavy?
It's a little more product based, and the home parties
Yeah,
is
okay.
the main focus of it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
There's that cool name tag that kind of gives.
Yeah, that's from a sales consultant. We have a name tag that has all these like pennants hanging from it, and each little charm is like another milestone that they hit, that they like added to their little name tag.
This woman sold the most spoons.
Yeah.
And this is up
Basically.
until January 19th. We should mention, I don't know if we said it, it's one of our pocket exhibits, and your listeners are familiar with those. Are the smaller exhibits that fit into pockets of the museum.
Yes.
And it's adorable. I will say that, and I think people would enjoy it.
Some think of me as a pocket exhibit.
I've heard it's.
I'm very small and adorable, and you could pop me in your pocket. Plenty of people say that around Orlando. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
So let's just say, Scotty, I'm curious. All you guys can chime in on this. If you were like, okay, let's say it's a third
I hope
Thursday.
they refuse to chime in. I hope
Me
they're
too.
like, you take your chime and you shove it.
And if you do, I'll tell you. But if you were like maybe doing a third Thursday is free,
Yeah.
or like you wanted to pop in
well-
Orange County Regional History Center.
Yep.
Um,
And Ernest, we need to talk about.
Yeah.
And let's just say you had a couple hours. What exhibits would you hit?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh goodness! Well, there's a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, the pocket exhibit, and of course, Figurehead Music and Mayhem is winding down. It's going to be closing February 2nd, so you want to catch that. So those would be the two at the moment that I would say would be the main things to for sure hit. But we're always updating things, so it's never the same museum. You know, it's always the content is rotating and language is being updated, et cetera. So
There you go.
And is there anything else with the Tupperware exhibit that you found pretty interesting? You didn't know going into this?
I didn't know a lot going into this.
Yeah.
I knew the headquarters was in Kissimmee, and that's kind of it. Learning about the Jubilees was really cool. Their like annual conference that they made into this party, and they had like a luau on an island one year, and the car thing, like the way that they would present gifts was just insane.
Yeah, my dad went to a couple of these corporate mega
Sales
parties.
jubilees. Yeah.
Where he like won. He was like the #1 salesman in Prentice Hall Publishing Company, and they flew him and Mom to Hawaii.
Yeah.
As he called it. And
And they bring you up and say, dun, 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 dun.
y'all ready for Dan? They bring him up out of the center. There's smoke blasting everywhere, right? And my mom's like, "Oh my God, my hero!" And he's standing up there. We'd like to present him with this check for, we made millions, but here's 1,000. Here you go, Dan.
like
You got
that.
1,000. We traded at all these hotel rooms and everything. You're getting a bunch of corporate garbage.
Yeah. Here's a $38,000 Cadillac. You made us $9 million.
Exactly. Yeah, your territory. This is back when people had territory. They're like, your territory is the entire state of Florida. And he would travel the whole state. Like it was a lot of work. But yeah, those things are bananas. And the amount of money that they spend. Oh my God.
Well, guys, thanks so much for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
It's always good to see you guys, especially around the holidays and all this fun stuff's happening.
Could we tell them a couple of
Yes,
things real
please.
quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Third Thursday, as we mentioned, you guys know 5 to 9, we're open late and it's free. This third Thursday, we're having a screening of Ernest Saves Christmas, which was filmed here in Orlando. I just rewatched it myself the other day, and it's fun, the nostalgia. We also have, thanks to Mayor Demings, there's going to be a free day on the 29th in celebration of Mosquito County's 200th anniversary, which Orange County is kind of claiming as their origin. So they're saying Orange County is 200, which
Okay, all right.
but we are free that day, and it's noon to 5. So, if you're looking for something to do on the holidays, the 29th, it's a good time to stop by.
There
Awesome.
you go.
And again, thehistorycenter.org
Please.
for all information.
Yep, go there and check it out.
And we will see you in a minute.